I forgot the special effects. This talk is full of amazing special effects. So, the title is SCADA in Security, Hacking Critical Infrastructure, but I have to say that SCADA is not only CI, Critical Infrastructures, and you will see why. Who is Raoul? I'm the founder of @mediaservice.net. That's an Italian-based security company. We are a vendor-independent consulting company, and we exclusively work on IT security. I'm an OPST and OPSA certified. For the ones who don't know OPST and OPSA, these are the two professional security certifications based on the OSDEM, OSS TMM. I'm an author of the OSDEM. I started to write the OSDEM back at 1.5. It was in 2001. I'm so proud to tell you that actually OSDEM has become a worldwide standard for pen testing. And we are going to release Peter do it, the final 3.0 release. It's like to be having a baby to board. I'm also in the board of the director for CLUSI, that is the Italian Computer Security Association, ISACOM, of course, OWASP, Open Web Application Security Project, and my friends at TSTF, Telecom Security Task Force, Emmanuel Gadais, Philippe Langlois, Stavrodoula Venturi. Then I'm into the core research team of Caristal. We are going to explain you who Caristal is, who we are. And for the ones that attended Hack in the Box in 2006, I'm into HPP, Access Profiling Project. That's another very interesting project from ISACOM. Who is Mayhem? Let's say he's more cool than me.
Hello, my name is Alessio. Mayhem, if you read some security mailing list. I work as a security evangelist for an Italian company called Alba ST. It's about 100 people working about security from a planning, consultant, and hardening point of view. I strongly believe in security. In fact, I invest my whole free time in non-profit organization like AIPSI, in which I am a member of the board of directors. AIPSI is the Italian chapter of ISSA, Information System Security Association, an association of more than 100,000 security professionals from all over the world, which aim is to write publication, best practices, and create awareness about security problems. I love when my computer works for me, and this is what we are talking about. We are talking about networks in which computers are taking care of other computers to explain them how to act, how to react in front of some events. And there are a lot of examples of this kind of applications.
One example is at my back, managing pumps. This is a SCADA interface control, GUI, and it's for the pumps. So, for example, this machine is able to stop all the water and decide when to release it or stop it. So I think you're starting to understand that we are not talking about like easy things. These may be things that could kill somebody, over water a town, or so on. And again, when we talk about industrial automation, I think all of us, we know that it is a reality since many years. They started with PLC back 20, 25 years ago, let's say. But the market is starting to migrate. We're talking about convergence and IP. IP is everywhere in our cell phone and SCADA as well. So from the bad tale of security through obscurity, all of us, we know it, so proprietary, obscure, and isolated IT machines, now we are moving through standards, documented or kind of, and connected, because also the SCADA environments, they need to talk to other parts of the environment. Another example, we have it here. This is the Gulf of Mexico. So this GUI at my back is managing in a high island many things about the wells and the water again. So we are talking in this case about very critical infrastructures. Let's say that many SCADA environments we have been able to test, and we are going to show you in this talk manage the security, but with security I mean also the safety of power plants, nuclear plants, gas, oil, water, transports, distributions, and so on. There is also a bad tale to say that usually when there is a lack of communications, somebody says that it's more the panic that has been created rather than the true incidents. We are going to bring you some example to show you that this sentence is not always so true. So, what is the main architecture of a SCADA environment? Human-machine interface, HMI. This is the part where we've been able to focus more, and we are going to zoom in details. Remote terminal unit, RTU. Then the old school PLC, and all the communication infrastructure that is around. As you can see, it's a complex environment. It's not so easy to get.
An example of it could be Enel, that is one of the biggest company in Italy that is distributing power, energy. It was the only vendor in Italy since some years ago. And we see from this picture taken from internet that security through obscurity does not work very well because this is a logical schema of their network that is freely available on their vendor website to show they are really cool, they implemented this kind of devices in their network, and they are giving us a lot of information about their, the NL network.
There is also, excuse me, Mayhem, bring to us also the attention that it's so common that the company, let's say the end customer, doesn't want to spread out the details, but the vendors are always so easy to spread out the details because they are so cool and so hot. That's why.
And of course, some issues happens. For example, talking about security, we can start seeing some messages like this.
That's very nice.
Shut it down. Can't shut it down. Override it. Not responding.
Suki, もう寝る時間よ。
How secure is your business? EDS, security solved.
Well, a fast search on internet will lead you to some slides held during some presentation of internal events of SCADA people when they talk also about security. And they often say they are really worried because hackers are talking about SCADA topics, because it is possible to find database of passwords on internet. And there is also some tools, terrible tools. Think that some legacy tools like Nessus started implementing a library specific for SCADA. We are fucked up. They are really, really worried. And they have some reason about this.
The funny things to us, and that's also why we decided years to bring Attic in the Box, a SCADA talk, is that as we are stating on my back, the presentation that has been held at the DEF CON, Black Hat, and whatever, have been made by people that are into the SCADA market. They are not from the security market. They don't have an hacking background. They don't know our world. We know our world, and we think we have been able to study SCADA world so much that maybe we know some more of them.
Well, when talking about problems, incidents, usually there is not only one single cause of that incident, but there are many things combining themselves to create what is called an incident.
Oh, this is a very, I was going to say funny, but it's not funny. I think something is funny when it's like a movie like War Games. That's funny. It's a movie. On the description I have on my shoulder, 3 people died. 2 18-year-old boys, 10-year-old boys, I'm sorry, kiddos, and 1 18-year-old boy. Of course, we don't have the time to go in the details of everything, and we are going to publish everything on the slides that you will be able to download from Hack in the Box website. But the key points are that it happened in '99. We are talking about the Olympic Pipeline Company that actually is one of the biggest worldwide pipeline companies all around the world. The final result was that we are talking about $45 million the damage because of this incident. And we have been so cool also to be able to bring you the graphical impact of the shit that happened. All this area has been fulfilled by the incident. We are talking about 1.5 miles. This impressed me a lot because it's the first time it's one of the few examples where technologies really impact on our social life, behavior, and lives.
I think the green area on the right side is a public park where families usually go to eat something, to play, and something else. So it was a really huge incident and terrible for that city.
So can you imagine you're doing a picnic on with your girlfriend or your family, and you got this like a tsunami oil coming up over you? This sucks. Let's go have a quick zoom on the technical details. The two main servers managing all the infrastructure were two VIX, computers running VMS. I love VMS, and I can tell you that VMS is one of the most secure OS all around the world. And there was also an alpha machine with OpenVMS as a backup machine environment. In this report that came from the Homeland Security Department, we are able to read at point 5 this sentence. If the supervisory control and data acquisition, so we're talking about the SCADA environment, had remained responsive of the Olympic controllers, probably the accident pipeline would have been able to initiate actions. That's what SCADA does. It realizes shit is happening and take a reaction. In this case, both the main server and the backup server failed. That's why the shit happened.
Well, in the SCADA world, we have some technical problem. For example, think all computers that is managing the SCADA infrastructure are vulnerable to viruses, worms, and so on. But those systems need real-time performance to understand and react to what is happening on the network. And an antivirus could degrade performance in such terrible way that the system is no more able to monitor and to react. So you are vulnerable to virus, but you cannot install an antivirus on a SCADA machine. Results in a contractor, a consultant, arrived in this power plant, connected his own laptop, and a worm that was infecting his laptop started spreading on the network, completely avoiding all the monitoring operation. It was a luck. Nothing happened during that hours without monitoring. But in that moment, the nuclear plant was without any control. Another critical problem, is about patch. Because in IT world, we know a patch could be faulty, and think a patch can disable all the printer in your company. So it's terrible because no one is able to print invoices and so on. Terrible, but think if a computer that is managing a power plant stop responding because of a patch. So all vendors have very long time to release patches because they have to pass them through a lot of controls.
We are stating that it's a nightmare, and come back to the original idea what was explained here at the beginning. SCADA came from a security to obscurity environment, and so we still have uncommon standards that actually they are not standards. So imagine how an AV, an antivirus, can impact on something that is not so known. It seems a very stupid issue, but it's not. In fact, if we talk about SLA,
A friend of mine that works in a power distribution company as a CSO states that the service level agreement of their vendor is to release a patch once a year. Think about it from a security point of view. Is a real nightmare. Is completely inadequate to the importance of the infrastructure that is managed inside this network.
pen testing. As the ones who knows me knows that I started to hack back in '86, and I started to professional pen testing, so my new hat, back in '96, '97. So it makes many years I'm into pen testing. When you pen test a SCADA environment, all the bad things of the world can happen to you. All the bad things of the world. This means that you can't just run your favorite tools because you don't know how the machine is going to react. You may lead to service disruption, and the worst thing we are going to explain you in a while is that, let's say when you do a standard IT pen testing, 8 customers out of 10 may be able to provide you a test plan, so you are not into production environment. In SCADA, this may happen 0.5 or 1 out of 10. All the rest, all the others 9, are in a real-life production environment. So if you do a mistake, you are causing some damage for sure. The market, as Mayhem told us at the beginning, is trying to supply some tools. But again, you just can't pick up your tools and hit enter. Doesn't work in that way. Although it's so important every time, let's say every month, every week, depending on the importance on the SCADA environment, security testing is mandatory because you have to know what would happen if, and if you are secure or not. Simple example from the NIST. Somebody performed a ping sweep. A ping sweep, I mean, is one of the most soft things I could think about. They were in a SCADA network that was controlling 9-foot robotic arms. The one arm was in standby mode, but it started to do in this way. It was a robo iron arm. Imagine what happened if some human operator was there. Cut it. So, of course, there is an extreme example, but it's true. And this also can happen. That's why we will explain to you, but that's why we decided to set up our research group to trying to exchange experiences, deep experiences, and real-life experiences about SCADA pen testing.
For all this reason, you are not able to deploy security measures inside the SCADA network. So you have to protect and isolate that network, put it into a VLAN or in a DMZ. And you cannot use an antivirus, so try to content filter all traffic entering and exiting from the network, and also filtering traffic. So network with a firewall, yeah, we are secure because we have the firewall, and the rule was permit any, because it was simple to manage.
That's the old tale of IT security.
Yeah, and also IDS and so on is so important to protect this network and keep it safe from the rest of the network infrastructure. Some problems come from...
Let's talk about the vendors,
vendors.
our friends.
We have a little interview.
Allora, molto spesso troviamo delle forti resistenze da parte dei clienti. Trovano che attrezzarsi per garantire la sicurezza delle infrastrutture sia una complicanza eccessiva. Allora, se poi si rende necessario anche un adeguamento della topologia di tutta la rete, i requisiti sembrano davvero problemi insormontabili.
So, vendors are mainly saying it's a customer fault because they are not protecting themselves. Often it's true, if you work in the security market, you know how difficult it is often to have funds to deploy a new project or to protect some infrastructure. But also vendors have some problem by design inside the infrastructure they deploy and they sell, both for technical reason, both for historical reason. All traffic on SCADA network is in clear text because it was completely disconnected and so it wasn't needed encryption. And deploying encryption now would mean to slow performances and in some environments could be unacceptable. Also think about some machine that contain a hard disk with the AutoCAD draw about the project that the machine is building or the PCs it's working on, maybe sensitive data or very high economical value data that are stored then on our disk in clear text without any problem. So anyone can copy the file. And there is also no authentication. Sounds very strange, but think, oh, the power plant is exploding. Do you remember the password to unlock the computer? So you cannot use strong authentication, but so you have to provide strong physical security to be sure only authorized personnel will arrive in front of the management station. And also keeping log or accounting is often slowing performance. So it's not used.
So let's say the vendors also aren't angels, even in this case. Then what else we have? Ah, that's funny. We decided to bring to you a short video.
Available on internet.
The video you're about to see is called the Modbus attack video, and it shows how an attacker with no knowledge of PLCs or SCADA systems or DCS or any other industrial systems could launch a devastating attack against an unprotected PLC. Please understand that this information is extremely sensitive and could be dangerous in the wrong hands. Be discerning when sharing this information with others.
Confidential on internet.
Here's the equipment we'll be using for today's demo. It's a very simple demo, simply a laptop, this will be the hacker's laptop, and a PLC running a program that has a light bulb on. Nothing fancier than that, but then this isn't a complex demo. The laptop is going to get into the network through some sort of back door. Now it could be right through the firewall off the internet, but more likely an attacker is going to get in through a dial-up line or maybe a trusted third party, but in this case through a wireless connection, and perhaps our hacker is sitting in the parking lot now scanning inside a process control network. And that's exactly what the hacker would do to start with. He would scan to see what is contained inside the network he just broke into. The first thing we need is a scanner program. Most hackers would probably use a program called Nmap, but today I'm going to use a program called SuperScan because it runs on Windows and is clearer to see the video. Here's my SuperScan program. I'm going to start off by entering a range of numbers here that are IP addresses inside the network I want to scan, and then hitting the Start button here. And you can see here the computer is being scanned by the program, and the program is attempting to discover what applications are running on it. It's now completed, and we can now look by scrolling down. There are a number of programs available, a number of